Hello, YouTube. This is the one knowing Damien Movie, also known as Cash from Majesty, and I'm back again for Black History Month. And today, is February 5th. It is 2:56 p.m. in the Philadelphia area, and I am deciding to do some more Black History Month reading. Um, Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share with friends and family. Feel free to donate if you want to see more content such as mannequin head reviews, wig reviews, cooking videos, all the new content. Please feel free to help a brother out and donate. The Cash App is Cashmere Majesty 26. Once again, it is Cashmere Majesty 26. All donations and help will be appreciated. And once I see that you are a real loyal person and you're really willing to help, you will get a shout out. And I will show much love to you in your YouTube channel if you have one. Now, with that being said, I felt like that I wanted to do some reading on Black History heroes and heroines. Now, please forgive me. I like to read biographies on Wikipedia, and most of the time they have words that can be a little difficult for me to pronounce. Sometimes they may be written one way and pronounced a whole another way. And then again, I am legally blind in one eye. My vision is fine, but it's not completely the best. So most of the time trying to read stuff, I'll be looking very close to the screen. Please forgive me. So first we are going to screen share. And the person I would like to be reading about is Dorothy Dandridge. A lot of you may know who she is, some of you may not. She is mostly famous for movies such as um Porgy and Bess, um Carmen Jones, and many others. Holly Berry, as y'all can see, Holly Berry portrayed her in the movie introducing Dorothy Dandridge. Um, I believe she is the first African American woman. Yeah, she's the first African American film star to be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress, which was for her performance of Carmen Jones, as y'all can see. So anyway, let me read it once again. Dorothy Jean Dandridge was born November 9th, 1922. She died September 8th, 1965. She was an American actress and singer. She was the first African American film star to be nominated for the Academy Award for Best Actress, which was her for her performance in Carmen Jones, 1954. Dandridge also performed as a vocalist on venues, I hope I said it right, such as the Cotton Club and the Apollo Theater. During her early career, she performed as a part of the Wonder Children, later the Dandridge Sisters, and appeared in a succession of films, usually in uncredited roles. In 1955, Dandridge was nominated for a Golden Globe Award for Porgy and Bess. She is the subject of the 1999 biographical film introducing Dorothy Dandridge, with Halle Berry portraying her. She has been recognized with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Dandridge was married and divorced twice. First to dancer Harold Nicholas, the father of her daughter, heroine Suzanne, and then to hotel owner Jack Dennison. Dandridge died in 1965 at the age of 42. She was born in Cleveland, Ohio, died in West Hollywood, California. Her final resting place is Forest Lawn Memorial Park. She is an actress, singer, dancer. Her years active was 1933 to 1965. One of her spouses is Daniel Dill Restrepo. I hope I said his name right. Married in 1942, divorced in 1951. Huh? Jack Dennison, married 1959, divorced 1962. She has one child. Her mother is Ruby Dandridge. Her sisters is, her relatives is Vivian Dandridge, which was her sister, and Nayo Wallace, who's her grandniece. Sorry, y'all, my phone keep buzzing out of control. Dorothy Jane Dean Di- Dorothy Jane Dandridge was born in 1922 in Cleveland, Ohio, to entertainer Ruby Nay Butler and Cyril Dandridge. Her father was a cabinet maker and Baptist minister. Her parents separated before her birth. Ruby created a song and dance act for her two young daughters, Vivian and Dorothy, under the name the Wonder Children. The act was managed by her lover, Geneva Williams. Williams was said to have had a bad temper and have cruelly disciplined the children. The sisters toured the southern United States almost nonstop for 5 years, rarely attending school, while Ruby worked and performed in Cleveland. During the Great Depression, work virtually dried up for the Dandridges as it did for many Chitlin Circuit performers. Ruby moved her family to Hollywood, California, while she found steady work on radio and film in a small domestic serving part. After that relocation in 1930, Dorothy attended McKinley Junior High School. The Wonder Children were renamed the Dandridge Sisters in 1934. Dandridge and her sister were teamed with dance schoolmate Etta Jones. The Dandridge sisters continued strong for several years, and they were booked in several high-profile New York nightclubs, including the Cotton Club and the Apollo Theater. Dandridge first appeared on screen at the age of 13 in a small part in an R-gang comedy short, Teacher's Boo, in 1935. As a part of the Dandridge Sisters, she's also appeared in the big broadcast in 1936 with Bill Bojangles Robinson, A Day at the Races with the Mark Brothers, and It Can't Last Forever, both 1937 with the Jackson Brothers. Although these appearances were relatively minor, Dandridge continued to earn recognition through continuing her nightclub performances nationwide. Dandridge's first credited film role was and For Shall Die, which was in 1940. The race film cast her as a murderer and did little for her film career because of her rejection of stereotypical black roles. She had limited options for film roles. She had small roles in Lady from Louisiana with John Wayne and Sundown with Gene Tierney, both in 1941. Also that year, Dandridge appeared as part of this specialty number, Chattanooga Choo Choo, in the hit 1941 musical Sun Valley's Serenade for 20th Century Fox. The film marked the first time she performed with the Nicholas brothers. Aside from her film appearances, Dandridge appeared in a succession of soundies, film clips that were displayed on jukeboxes, including Paper Doll by the Mills Brothers, Cow Cow Boogie, Jig in the Jungle, and Mr. and Mrs. Carpenter's Rent Party, and called Swing for My Supper, among others. These films were noted not only for showcasing Dandridge as singer and dancer in her acting abilities, but also for featuring a strong emphasis on her physical attributes. She appeared occasionally in films and on the stage throughout the rest of the 1940s and performed as a band singer in films with Count Basie and hit Parade of 1943 with Louis Armstrong, Atlantic City 1944, and Pillow to Post 1945. In 1944, Dandridge was featured as a star in Sweden Hot, a musical held at the Mayan Theater of Los Angeles and produced by Leon Heflin Sr., which played nightly for 11 weeks. In 1941, Dandridge appeared in Mel Mindy Queen. Excuse me. She appeared as Mel Mindy, Queen of the Ashuba in Tarzan's Peril, starring Lex Barker and Virginia Huston. When the motion picture production co objected to the film's uh, blunt sexuality, Dandridge received considerable attention for wearing what was considered provocatively revealing clothing. The continuing public buzz surrounding Dandridge's wardrobe got her featured on an April 1951 cover in Ebony. The same year, she had a supporting role in the Harlem Globetrotters in 1951. In May 1951, Dandridge had spectacular opening at the Macabo nightclub in uh, Macambo nightclub in West Hollywood, the biggest in its history. After city is hold on, uh, coaching and decisions on style with pianist Phil Moore. This success seemed a new turn to her career, and she appeared in New York in the Cafe de Paris in London with equal success, and the return engagement at the Macambo in December 1952, the Metro Goldwyn Mayer studio agent saw Dandridge and recommended to production chief Dora Scary. I think that's how you pronounce that. That she might take an appearance as a club singer in her own name and remains to be seen. A film already in production. Her acquaintance with Dora Scary. How you pronounce that? Resulted in the casting Dandridge as Jane Richards in Bright Road, her first starring role in which she expressed herself as a wonderful emotional actress, which the trailer promoted. The film, which centered on a teacher's struggles to reach a troubled student, marked the first time Dandridge appeared in the film opposite Harry Belafonte. She continued her performances in nightclubs and appeared on multiple early television variety shows, including Ed Sullivan's Toast of the Town. Y'all, sorry, my damn stomach hurt. Let me see how much more is it to read because it's a lot. Damn, this is a lot. Mm. Y'all, please forgive me. I'm just taking a little break because my stomach over here hurting. Whoever ends up watching this video. All right. In 1953, a talent search was conducted as 20th Century Fox began the process of casting an all-black musical film adaptation of Oscar Hammerstein's second 1943 Broadway musical Carmen Jones. This production had updated George Bizet's opera Carmen to a World War II era African American setting. And Dandridge's leading role from the previous year, a school teacher in Bright Road, director and writer Otto Preminger could see no gift to portray the classic femme fatale. in Carmen Jones' 1954, but his consideration was that she would be suited for a small role, Cindy Lou. Dandridge, who had dressed down for the screen test of bright role to suit the demure teacher at his center, worked with Max Factor makeup artist to comedy the look and character of the earthy Carmen, which she wore to a meeting with Preminger in his office. The effect combined with some viewing suggested to him of her freer, looser appearances in the Soundies material, assure her earning the production's title role. The remainder of the cast was completed with Harry Belafonte, Pearl Bailey, Brock Peters, Diane Carroll, Madame Sil Tiwan, uncredited, and Olga James and Joe Adams. That's crazy. Diane Carroll had to be very, very young doing this movie for her to be in something like Carmen Jones, and then we see her years later in Claudine. Despite Dandridge's recognition as a singer, the studio wanted an operatic voice, so Dandridge's voice was dubbed by white mezzo soprano Marilyn Horn. Carmen Jones opened to favorable reviews and strong box office returns. On October 28, 1954, earning 70,000 during its first week and 50,000 during its second. Dandridge's performance as the seductive Carmen made her one of Hollywood's first African American sex symbols and earned her positive reviews. On November 1st, 1954, Dorothy Dandridge became the first black woman featured on the cover of Life. Walter Winchell described her performance as bewitching, and Rarity wrote that it maintains the right hedonistic note throughout. Carmen Jones became a worldwide success, eventually earning over 10 million at the box office and becoming one of the year's highest earned films. Dandridge was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Actress, becoming the first African American nominated for a leading role at the 27th Academy Awards held on March 3rd, 1955. Dandridge was a nominee along with Grace Kelly, Audrey Hepburn, Judy Garland, and Jane Wyman. Although Kelly won the award for her performance in The Country Girl, Dandridge became an overnight sensation. At the 1955 Oscar ceremony, Dandridge presented the Academy Award for Film Editing to On the Waterfront editor Gene Milford. Okay. On February 15, 1955, Dandridge signed a three-movie deal with 20th Century Fox starring at 75,000 a film. Darrell F. Zanuck, the studio head, had suggested the studio sign Dandridge to a contract. Zanuck had big plans for her, hoping she would become the first African American screen icon. He purchased the film's rights to The Blue Angel and intended to cast her as saloon singer Lola Lola in an all-black remake of the original 1930 film. She was scheduled to star in Cigarette. What? She is scheduled to star Cigarette in the remake of Under Two Flags. Meanwhile, Dandridge agreed to play the role of Tuptim in the film version of The King and I in the sultry upstairs what? The King and I and the sultry upstairs neighbor in the Lieutenant wore skirts. However, her former director and now lover Otto Preminger suggested she accept only leading roles. As an international star, Dorothy Dandridge rejected the two lesser roles, and Rita Moreno was cast in both roles. On October 11, 1965, Dandridge became the first black performer to open at the Empire Room in New York's Waldorf Astoria Hotel. Her success was a her success as a headliner led to a hotel booking other black performers such as the Count Basie Orchestra and vocalist Joe Williams, Pearl Bailey, and Lena Horne. Whew. In 1957, Dandridge sued Confidential for libel over its article that described a scandalous incident that it claimed occurred in 1950. In May 1957, she accepted an out-of-court settlement of 10,000. Dandridge was one of two Hollywood stars who testified in the 1957 criminal libel trial of Hollywood Research Inc., the company that published Confidential and other tabloid magazines from that era. 4 months after her out-of-court settlement of 10,000, she and actress Maureen O'Hara, the only other star who testified at the criminal trial, were photographed shaking hands outside the downtown Los Angeles courtroom where the highly publicized trial was held. There we go. This is a newspaper article, and that's the picture. Testimony from O'Hara, as well as from this this what that should say, the disgruntled uh, former magazine name Howard Rushmore, revealed that the magazines published false information provided by hotel maids, clerks, and movie theater ushers who were paid for their tips. The stories were with questionable veracity, most often centered around alleged incidents of casual sex. When the jury and press visited Grauman's Chinese theater to determine whether O'Hara would have performed various sexual acts while seated in a balcony, as reported by a magazine published by Hollywood Research Inc. This was discovered to have been impossible. Dandridge has not testified during a civil lawsuit earlier in 1957, but in September she gave testimony in the criminal trial that further strengthened the prosecution's case, alleged by Confidential to have tourn- tourniqueted with a white band leader in the woods of Lake what? Tahoe, Nevada in 1950. She testified with racial segregation had confined her to a hotel during the nightclub engagement in Lake Tahoe when she was not in the hotel lounge rehearsing the performing her singing. According to her testimony, she was required to stay inside her room where she slept alone. The trial ended in a mistrial. The judge ordered Hollywood Research to stop publishing questionable stories based on paid tips. This Sertel evaded tabloid journalism until 1971 when Generoso Pope Jr. moved to National Enquirer, which he owned from New York to Lantana, Florida, where there were fewer restrictions. Y'all, please forgive me. This is a lot of reading. That's why I keep on trying to take breaks because I'm just out of breath. This is a small picture of Dorothy Dandridge. I don't think y'all can see it that much. This is a bigger and better picture. It says Dandridge with Elaine Delon on a set of Love Fable. I don't know how to pronounce that. Love Fable. Let's see. Anyway, in 1957, after a 3-year absence from film acting, Dandridge agreed to appear in the film Island in the Sun, opposite an assembled cast including James Madison, Harry Belafonte, Fontaine, Joan Collins, and Stephen Boyd. Dandridge portrayed a local West Indian shop clerk who has an interracial love affair with a white man played by John Justin. The film was controversial for its time period, and the script was revised numerous times to accommodate the motion picture production code requirements about interracial relationships. Dandridge and Justin did have an extremely intimate, loving embrace that succeeded in not breaching the code. Despite the behind the scenes controversies, the film received favorable reviews and was one of the year's biggest successes. Dandridge next agreed to star opposite German actor Cord Jorgens in a French-Italian production of Tamango, 1958. Reluctant Dandridge had agreed to appear in the film only after learning that it focused on the 19th century revolt on a cargo ship traveling from Africa to Cuba. However, she nearly withdrew when The initial script called for her to swim in a nude and spend the majority of the film in a two-piece bathing suit made of rags. When Danger threatened to leave the film, the script and her wardrobe were retooled to her liking, as United States production code requirements did not apply to the Italian film production. A passionate kiss between Jorgens and Dandridge's characters was permitted in the shooting of Tamango. This was Dandridge's first and only on-screen kiss with a white actor. Tamango was withheld from American release until late 1959. It received mixed reviews from critics and achieved only minor success. In MGM's The Decks Ran Red, 1958, Dandridge co-starred with James Madison, Broderick Crawford, and Stuart Whitman as Mahaya, a cook's wife aboard a tired World War II surplus freighter, enduring a mutiny. Despite being universally panned, the film generated a respectable audience. During production, fellow actor Stuart Whitman said that he noted her strength and she was going through personal turmoil. In late 1958, Dancers accepted producer Samuel Goldwyn's offer to star alongside Sidney Poitier in Goldwyn's forthcoming production of Porgy and Bess. This was her first major Hollywood film in 5 years. Her acceptance angered the black community, who felt the story negative stereotyping of blacks was degrading. When the initial director Robin Mimolian, I hope I said his last name right, was replaced with Otto Preminger, he informed Dandridge that her performance was not credible and that she needed intensive coaching to handle such a role. Porgy and Bess had its long and costly production. All the sets and costumes were destroyed in a fire and had to be replaced, which amounted to a loss of almost 2 million. Continuous script rewrites and other problems prolonged the production and ultimately pushed the film over its original budget. When it was released in June 1959, it drew mixed reviews and failed financially. Damn, they were doing her dirty. In 1959, Danger starred in the low-budget British thriller Malaga, in which she played a European woman with an Italian name. The film co-starring Trevor Howard and Edmund Purdom plotted a jewel robbery in its aftermath. Some pre-release publicity invited a belief that Dandridge received her first and only on-screen kiss with a white actor Howard in this aftermath film. She had kissed her white co-star in Tamango, but Dandridge and Howard under Lazio Benedict direction created some strongly understated sexual tension. The film was withheld from a theatrical release aboard to 1960. It was not released till 1962 in the United States. Malaga was her final completed film appearance. In 1962, Dangerous was filmed with Alain Delon in the set of, I ain't never gonna read that. A Raw on Levi produced French-Italian film that was abandoned due to financial issues. Years later, it was released as Marco the Magnificent without either Dandridge or Delon. That's petty as hell. She also appeared as Anita in the Highland Park Music Theater production of West Side Story, but she lasted only two performances due to illness. On 31 March 1962, Dandridge sang in a Lee Payon Road nightclub of the Phoenixia. Uh, I can't pronounce this shit. Intercontinental as a guest of honor. By 1963, Dandridge's popularity had dwindled, and she was performing in nightclubs to pay off debts from numerous lawsuits. She filed for bankruptcy and went into seclusion before appearing as a lounge act in Las Vegas in 1964. In 1965, she attempted to revive her acting career. Dandridge signed a new contract in Mexico and was scheduled to appear as a female lead in the film about outlaw Jo- Johnny Ringo. Sorry. Dandridge was a Democrat, and she supported a campaign of Adlai Stevenson during the 1952 presidential election. Having developed an interest in activism because of racism she encountered in the industry, Dandridge became involved with the National Urban League and the National Association of the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP. During an engagement at the Cotton Club, Dandridge met Harold Nicholas, a dancer and entertainer. They married at a Hollywood ceremony on September 6, 1942. Guests at their wedding included Oscar winner Hattie McDaniel, jazz singer Etta Jones, and choreographer Nick Castle. They had an unhappy marriage, which deteriorated because of Nicholas' womanizing and inattentiveness. By 1948, Nicholas had abandoned his family. Dandridge filed for divorce in September 1950, and it was finalized in October 1951. Dandridge gave birth to her only child, Carolyn Suzanne Nicholas, on September 2nd, 1943. While she's in labor, Nicholas left her stranded at her sister-in-law home without a call or when he went to play golf. At first, Dandridge refused to go to the hospital without him. Carolyn's delayed birth required the use of forceps. This may have resulted in a brain damage that left her requiring lifelong constant care. Dandridge blamed herself for her daughter's condition and for not getting to the hospital sooner. Carolyn was unable to speak and never recognized Dandridge as her mother. Dandridge was proud about her daughter's condition. She didn't publicly speak about it until a 1963 appearance on the Mike Douglas show. While filming Corman Jones in 1964, she began an affair with director Otto Preminger that lasted 4 years, during which Preminger advised her on career marriage. He demanded that she accept only starring roles after her success in his film. Dandridge later regretted following his advice. She became pregnant by him in 1955, but was forced to have an abortion by the studio. She ended the affair when she realized that Preminger had no plans to leave his wife to marry her. Their affair was depicted in a biopic introducing Dorothy Dandridge, in which Preminger was portrayed by actor Claus Maria Brandauer. Ugh, I hate when I can't pronounce these words and names and stuff. Dandridge married Jack Dennison, that bastard, on June 22nd, 1969. They divorced in 1962 amid financial setbacks and allegations of domestic violence. Dandridge discovered that the people who were handling her finances had swindled her out of 150,000, and she owed 139,000 in back taxes. She was forced to sell her Hollywood home and place her daughter in a California state mental institution, Camarillo State Hospital. Dandridge moved into a small apartment on Fountain Avenue in West Hollywood, California. On the evening of September 7th, 1965, Dandridge spoke by telephone from Los Angeles with a friend and former sister-in-law, Geraldine Jerry Branson. Dandridge was scheduled to fly to New York City the next day to prepare for a nightclub engagement at Basson Street East. Branson told biographers that during a long conversation, Dandridge reared from expressing hope for the future to singing Barbara Streisand's People in its entirety, to making a cryptic remark moments before hanging up on her. Whatever happens, I know you'll understand. On the morning of September 8th, around 7:15 a.m., Dandridge telephoned her manager, Earl Mills, asking him to reschedule a hospital appointment she had that morning where a cast would be applied to her foot where a teeny bone fracture had occurred in the fall 5 days earlier. A few minutes later, she called again and requested a further delay, and a 10 a.m. appointment was scheduled. Her manager, Mills, received no response when he arrived at her door at the appointment time. It was Highwood and silent. What? It was Highwood and silent was often temperamental. He left. Okay. Several hours later, Dentist was found naked and unresponsive in her apartment by Mills after he had finally broken in the apartment door using the tire iron from his car. A Los Angeles path, patholo- uh, pathology institute determined that the cause of death was an accidental overdose of the antidepressant imipridine. I mean, imipramine, ipramine, a prominent. Ugh. Tofenol. Okay, so they try to say she overdosed on pills for depression. The Los Angeles County Coroner Office concluded that she died of a fat embolism resulting from a nearly sustained right foot fracture. On September 12, 1965, a private funeral service was held at the Little Chapel of the Flowers. Dentist was cremated, and her ashes interred in Freedom Mausoleum at Forest Lawn Memorial Park. I'm not about to read everything. I just want to read about her. So that's into that. Yeah, I shall be back on later for part four, where I'll continue reading. But if not, I'll get back to y'all because my stomach hurt. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, be notified. Feel free to donate. The Cash App is Cash from Massey 26, and I'll get back to y'all.